Should be good. Should be good. How can I help you? What's going on?
All right. So I think we spoke about a month ago or so. I was just starting to get into going off market, wholesaling, all that. I have 5 properties that I do lease option already, which has been working out well. Well, one of them's a midterm rental with the insurance companies. I don't like being a landlord because even the midterm rental, I get a lot of extra money, but I'd rather
A lot of work.
go lease option. Anyway, so with all that being said, I've been doing wholesale type businesses for like 15 years. I was a stockbroker originally, but that business is dead. So like I'm very used to doing business over the phone, transactional business. So this feels really familiar to me, wholesaling off market. I feel like a good amount of the opportunities that I'm getting are not best for cash transaction. It's more of a novation type of deal. And I'll be honest, like the novation paperwork in itself, there's a lot of stuff going on. I came across Sean Terry's called RBP, the Retail Buyer Program, which I think is what you do with the Notice of Interest Memorandum, if I'm not mistaken. So that's where I feel like I can most benefit, where I can get the most value from you, being quite honest. Just kind of like the process, paperwork, like
so that's all in the course. We added it a while back because somebody else wanted it. So if you go into my course under paperwork, go underneath the wholesale contract, you will find the 3 major paperwork that you need. You're going to need the addendum for the novation. You're going to need the attorney in fact, and you're going to need the release rescission. They're all 3 there along with the wholesale contract. The wholesale contract is set up with novation verbiage in it, but a lot of times realtors don't want to deal with that paperwork. They want to see a separate piece of paper. And to be real honest with you, I was doing novations a long time ago, but didn't even know what they were called because nobody was using the term novation. And once we started doing that and it started becoming more popular and so forth, I had a good friend here in town, Corey Geary, that was known for novations. We picked up his course and some of his paperwork and stuff because it's cheaper to buy the course, and he was using the same attorneys I was and to pay the attorney. But at the same time, I do have Sean Terry and Corey Boatwright's course, the RBP program, and that's exactly what we use. So we had our calculator that we use is a version of what Corey put together for them. I dumbed it down because you didn't need as much stuff as what he put in there. To make it easy what we call McDonaldizing it. And even Sean talks about McDonaldizing stuff.
I've heard him say that.
So and that's the truth. So we do use the RBP type stuff, and then we just tweaked it a little bit along with our attorneys here in town, just to make it a little bit better than what Corey was doing. I mean, Corey's out of Oklahoma, so their market's a little different. And I know Corey and Sean just hooked up and they sell it as a package, but Corey was the one that actually put it all together. So, but yeah, that's all in the course. The script that we use, if you go into scripts, we just updated that probably less than a month ago. And when you get to the back of the script, you're going to see a seller finance with arrears. I'm sorry, a sub two with arrears. You're going to see seller finance. You're going to see a cash offer. You're going to see a novation. And in there are 2 different pitches. One of those pitches is pretty much straight what Corey and Sean use. We tweaked it a little bit. The other pitch is something that we put together that we like to use also, depending on the client. So again, it's all right there. You've already paid for it, so don't buy it again.
Which maybe I downloaded before you guys updated it. But yeah, I actually have your course open right here anyway. And then with the process with that, do you guys know you're going novation during the acquisition call?
Yes.
So
So
you're-
do you use the calculator that you have?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
So I understand the math with the realtor commissions,
okay.
the seller
Yep.
concessions and such.
So basically what my acquisition team does, the minute they are on the call, the first thing they are looking at is, can we take it down and will it cash flow for our portfolio or theirs, because they buy portfolio stuff too. If it does not, the second thing we look at is they start punching in for novations. And they're going over to the dispo team saying, hey, what can you sell this property for on a novation? They're getting that comped, as well as our acquisitions underwriter is comping it. They compare those two comps as to what they think they can sell it for. And then we just work the numbers backwards. This is what are going to be our sold price on the open market. I want a $30,000 positive cash flow. Here's what I can offer the people, working it backwards. So that's exactly what they do. Very, very, very seldom do they ever go to a wholesale, because a novation is so much stronger than a wholesale. Like right now, in all the deals we have one wholesale deal. And it's just because it's a piece of shit and the realtors really don't want to deal with it. Otherwise, we would put that on novation too.
Really? I mean, how challenging do you get with the condition, like where it's barely livable, even that type of stuff? Are you going novation on market or?
So you're going to make more money on market typically, on the MLS, even if it's a wholesale / novation. What you have to look at is, can the property be? Sorry, somebody was walking out. No, I'm good, thanks. Is the property financeable?
Yeah.
Okay? So when the appraiser goes in, or when when they go in to get the appraisal for the mortgage company, FHA and VA are very strict.
Yeah.
They have certain guidelines that you have to fit. If not, you're going to have to fix the property. Conventional is a little bit easier. If you know it's a trashed out property and it's not going to fit for financing and work for financing, then at that point, you can still put it on the open market, but now you got to put down it's a cash deal only.
Yeah.
So yes, you still have a lot of buyers out there that actually shop the MLS that are cash buyers. It just minimizes your buyer pool, but you got to know what you're doing with that. But so like if we get a wholesale deal, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to shop at wholesale with our VIP buyers. We are going to hit a couple of the websites that we use. We use Investor Base a lot, that kind of thing. Call buyers off of that. If we can't find anything, we're going to list it and see what we can get out of it, even paying a realtor on it. But that's the last resort on a wholesale type deal, because you only have cash buyers out there. And the listing agent has to put in there cash only. There's no financing allowed because it won't pass.
Yeah. So like I understand listing a wholesale deal where it's going to be a true cash transaction because you're using the attorney in fact, and you're just, that makes a lot of sense because you're getting the most eyeballs on it.
Yep.
With some of these more rural properties where, it's like a single subdivision and nothing for 30 miles. It's like we could try to find a cash buyer, but on market's definitely the best way to go.
The only way to go in a rural area. Every time we go rural, it's always a novation, always. And we just automatically plug it in the calculator, and we know that we're going to pay, 6% and closing costs on it.
Yeah. Then do you typically see where you're listing in at 85, 90% of market value? So you're pricing it for an aggressive sale,
Yes.
Quick.
Yes. Yep.
Right.
And my team has always won that $30,000 profit at the bottom. And so that's how they're pricing it. Yep. That's exactly right.
State to state, does it change with the memorandum, where I've heard in some states you can you have to have the memorandum in the contract, but the seller doesn't have to sign it necessarily?
So we don't use a memorandum. Each state is different right now. We use affidavits instead.
Okay.
And it's just the verbiage because the counties are taking that and recording them as opposed to memos, because so many wholesalers won't release the memo properly. So now, and very seldom do we ever even file one anymore.
Really?
We have such a great relationship with our title company that they know exactly what we're doing. And the only time we ever file an affidavit is if the seller gets squirrely on us.
Right.
We used to file one on everything, and then we'll along with the release form. So the minute we didn't do something with it, we released it, but we're doing it the right way. So in our contract, if you're using my contract, it says right in there that we have the right to file an affidavit. We may or may not do it, but it says it in there. And so what we found and what our attorneys say, just leave it there. And in that contract, it also says that if any part of that contract doesn't fit for that state or county, then throw that part out. The rest of the contract is still valid. Okay.
Right.
So but you still have the right. I don't know any state that won't let you have it in the contract. Ohio is getting to be a bear on being able to record the affidavits.
Okay.
And there's a couple counties in Indiana we're having problems with.
That's where I'm focusing most, Indiana. That's where I'm probably most active.
Yeah. But so far it's so good. So far so good. And we do all of our own filing. We use Simplifile.
Okay. Yeah, I've heard of them before.
Yep. Go on Simplifile, and you can buy an account there, and it's not expensive, and everything's electronic. As long as that county is doing electronic stuff.
Yeah.
Not all of them are, but a lot of them are.
That's good to know. It seems like you have some students doing this too. Like some guys in your community that are using this Novation method.
Oh yeah, we use it every day.
Yeah. So like if I was actively, because I have a few right now that I think would be good for this. I just wasn't entirely confident with the process. I didn't want to fuck it up for the seller because some of them are in situations, you know how it is.
Right. Are you on my community?
No, I was gonna say I should just get in there, even if I have a question in real time.
Yeah. So I would say go join community. We did a whole deal on novations with myself and my transaction coordinator. We spent, I don't know, an hour or more going through the entire process and the paperwork. And if you get on community and you join the Facebook, it will be on there. You can go back and watch the recording of it.
Oh, that's awesome.
And that'll help you through a lot, because Novation isn't what I train on. That's not my forte, but even though we do it every day, we probably do more novations than we do creative deals right now.
Right. Well, that's because
they're more plentiful.
Right. Like you don't want to hold a rural property in the portfolio. It takes forever to fill and rent, especially now. Like I got one property I just cannot fill, like with the right tenant. It's just wild. But
yeah. So it's like we do a lot of novations, but I really don't teach it. But I had so many students asking about it. So we put all of our paperwork, all of our scripts, all that in the course. And then they wanted a full training on it. So we did it during community, and then it's all recorded. So yeah, I jump on community and it's right there. But if you need help, I mean, you've got my numbers and so forth. If you have a quick question or whatever, you don't have to book it. Just hit me up on a text or whatever. Right now, I'm answering students as fast as I can to get you through deals. So
yeah, that's good to know. I appreciate the help. Helps out big time.
Yeah.